Occultists Anonymous and our Mage the Awakening Chronicle Into the West. It's been a minute. Unless you just watched the last episode, in which case, hi, welcome back.
In which case, it's been a literal minute.
True, thank you. Mage, for all your pedantic players. Thank you, y'all, for joining us and hanging out with us. And a special shout out to our patrons who support us monetarily. We greatly appreciate y'all. Thank you to Adele, Alice, Aiden, Alexander, Alstrid, Amygdala, Bernie, Chris, Doc, Emil, Ethan, Jeff, George. I finally finished my PhD.
Congrats.
Way to go.
James,
Fantastic.
Camo, Cat Feathers, Klaus,
Ring the
Michael,
bell.
Milo V3, Moku, Mozart D Minor, Nexus, Nick, Other Guy, Perry, Foog, Polka Dot Hubris, Porter, Puppeteer, Riafio, Sean, Shexara, Starfish, Terry, Thomas Verhex, Vincent, Vortex, and Zoltan. Y'all down there in the last end of the alphabet, I'm sorry, I don't know what happens to my brain. It just shuts down and stops being able to read. Thank you all very much for your support. When we last left the coven, they realized that, while we do have some information about the serpents clearly have some information about us, because Tragander themselves seem to have infiltrated Purgatory Bluff, ran off with some cows and threw them off a cliff. Just kind of a useless gesture, but
Rude.
did kind of run
It's really
the cows.
anachronistic to have beef like that.
Yes. Have you been sitting on that one for weeks?
No.
Oh, good job. But the whole stealing the cows thing did lead it right through the nearby encampment of some Native American friends, and clearly seemed to have been an attempt at stirring up trouble. But apparently Warner Enright's guys, Ike's guys are not quite up to snuff, and we're not able to locate the cow trail and follow them, or just didn't bother. But a question to ask maybe later at some point. Maybe not of Ike, but of his guys. So after realizing that Tragander had come to pay a visit, we summoned said Mastigos, who did the teleporting, for a little bit of a little interrogation. It was gentle, just the weight of like 2 or 3 elephants, to squeeze
long-term consequences. That's
some
called gentle.
answers.
Oh, there we go. Yep.
Yep. And he was sent back alive and well, and I believe even with his memories intact.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
Like
did.
we wasn't going to mess with any of those.
Yep.
I mean, there are other ways to mess with memories, right? It doesn't have to be the mind arcana, but
Yep.
The direct route wasn't one we applied because Legwa didn't do that.
Yep. And y'all realize that, okay, we probably need to step our timetable up on investigating and looking into this. And that's where we kind of left off with some suggestions of what was going to happen in the downtime. So
Indeed.
we pick up deep in the astral, well, not deep in the astral, deep in the Temenos, we should say. We're not out in the Anima Mundi.
Not yet.
Spoilers. With Baba Sarah, Max, and man, I almost said Songbird, and Petrichor, atop astral horses. I'm going to pause here to ask my 3 ladies, what do your astral horses look like?
I feel like Max's is probably just like, in my head, I'm thinking like a Clydesdale, like a very big, impressive warhorse.
Sure.
Ooh,
Yeah. That checks out.
We joked about a tree stream, but I gotta go with it's like a chicken wagon.
Sure.
Yeah.
I don't know what horses are called, but the ones that are like kind of like a Dalmatian horse, but it's brown and white.
Mm-hmm.
You know that
Yeah.
one? Usually got like
Yeah.
a brown tail.
Appaloosa.
Sure. Again, I preface with I do not know a horse.
Ash, were you a horse girl growing up?
I wanted a horse so badly.
It'd be like that.
Yep. I like that. And Papa Legba is nowhere to be seen. Papa Legba is busy in Purgatory Bluff, probably preparing things, checking in with Les Enfants, that kind of stuff, because leading this hunt is one single goetic entity, though it appears to be a rather large, we'll say, Mighty Ducks-esque V formation of dogs. A smattering of dogs across multiple breeds, including pugs, before we mess them up. We did that. Our bad.
It used to be normal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably had the same attitude, just less breathing issues. Anyways, yes, an entity of dogs at, well, I guess I wouldn't say all dog breeds, a lot of hunting dog breeds.
The hounds.
The hounds, I like that, which is the goetic entity, who has been set on probably the greatest hunt the hounds have ever had. Because chasing things through the forest on a hunt with a bunch of goetic entities of British what am I saying? Upper crust folks, and no, we're leaving this astral realm and we're moving cross astral realms in search of I guess basically tracking backwards from the plantation. In search of Sir Lucan.
Yes.
Who I don't believe you all know which serpent he is tied to. Okay,
Nope.
cool.
No.
But we do have the other serpent.
We're willing to
names.
take a gander and figure it out, though.
Fantastic.
Well 2 for 2, Chris.
Yeah. We're about to find out what's bad for the goose.
Terrible.
They're going downhill.
It's going up. Keep it going. I'm here for it.
So we pick up with the hounds leading through a transition of astral realms from what had been I actually hadn't thought of where you would be coming from. We'll say, a ancillary kind of definitely middle of the way stop off of the plantation, probably some great big farming related astral realm, so great big sweeping fields and stuff like that, bursting through there and on. Where might the hounds be leading them now, if you have an idea?
Yeah, I do have an idea. The hounds, as you said, have associated themselves with goetic entities and mages of a Victorian aesthetic, a hunting aesthetic, people of nobility who fancy having a dreamscape hunt through the endless expanse of thicket that can exist in collective imagination. So what I imagine has happened is it's not strange to them, this idea of go from where you all first, or where from Legba told them he encountered this person of medieval garb and courtly comportment. Find out where you think they might be. So the hounds start going through just first the places they've been before with people like that. So they first go to a hunting field. Then they go to stuff like the fields around a place where somebody would joust, right? The hounds are not dogs, right? They don't have dog brains because they're Goetia. It's a goetic entity. However, I think it's really direct at first. And then eventually it gets a little more nuanced. So I think now you're rolling across the plains of southern France.
Good, perfect. No, that's actually spot on. Yeah, you guys bust out into the wonderful scenic, similar to Purgatory Bluff having a reflection here in the astral as people talk about it. We bust out into the south of France. Gorgeous rolling hills. Gotta love this place. It's wonderful, at least to see. Yeah, the hounds, you guys definitely pick up. We're on the trail, and deviate away from probably what the hounds are comfortable with, in the world of, we'll say, nonfiction, and steer from the fields of southern France into the French depiction of King Arthur, or more specifically, from these rolling hills to, nope, not Camelot. Britannia. I get there eventually.
Yeah.
And so it goes from, these very realistic fields to, we're going to pull a little bit of a Spider-Verse and drop into, I almost said watercolor, illustrated manuscript.
Ooh, cool. Yes.
Of King Arthur and depictions of such nobility, and nobility was definitely royalty, definitely the way to go for a ruling caste. That worked out really well. But he was a benevolent king, so this was great. So the fields beneath your feet take on a very different appearance. You all remain the same, so you kind of stand out amongst this, as do the horde of hounds. You all continue. Go ahead.
Can we say when the hounds stop to pee, that the urine after it leaves their body takes on the aesthetic of the image?
Absolutely.
Crucial details.
Crucial details.
I mean, because I imagine they'd piss on the landscape, right?
Yeah,
and the whole notion is,
yeah.
this is ridiculous. So
no, I'm digging it. The continued journey across, passing by, serfs in, two-dimensional appearance, tilling fields, noble knights standing with great big spears and pennants and stuff like that, and just watching as you all ride by in quite a bit of a hurry, and move from these illustrated manuscript type of things into Camelot, or more specifically, the fictionalized appearance of castles. So not a great big square tower with a wall, but into, great towers and pennants on all the everything, and just, it's so majestic, and the classic romantic depiction of it. And that's where the trail ends.
What is it, boy? Can we fall down the well?
No scent. No scent. No scent.
So they've been cleaning.
Or this is where it goes.
Guy's name is Sir Lucan.
Where it goes. Where it goes. Where it goes.
This is his castle?
With his castle, why does he not smell?
One of them pisses on the castle. Ha! Now
boy.
castle smells.
Good boy.
That part of the hounds approaches Petrichor.
Which I actually imagine, because this is a fairly higher rank Goetia, that like
Mhm.
at a distance they look like, normal dogs. Then they walk over to you on horseback and they're horseback height, right?
Yeah.
Massive.
Sorry, describe like a way into the castle, or is it all?
Yeah, so this is like if you think of, I don't know, Rankin Bass kind of appearance for, I mean, we're a little bit before his time, but their time. But that kind of appearance. So it is definitely like this fictionalized. We're not nailed into a realistic depiction. But it is the castle. It is the outskirt like farms, and the like what we'd say the out village.
Village and stuff. Yeah.
Right. So you have people milling about, going about. You've got actual knights trotting, and all the horses are doing the parade step, the high step. Everywhere that they go. Yeah, this is like
Granaries, apiary, that kind of.
yep,
Yeah.
and just kind of spread out up to great big walls, the castle beyond it, the gates wide open, people coming and going through. This is the lie that we tell about what medieval society was totally like. Written in the late 1700s. I can't remember when King Arthur got his revival, and they started to romanticize it. Not the actual gritty depiction of the Dark Ages.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, lots of people, but lots of Goetia moving about. And yeah, the trail here, less of it stopping suddenly, and more of it is a scent that is completely muddled through this area.
Okay. That's what I was thinking. It's more that this is where it goes. Should we just go in?
Yep.
Go in. Go in.
Do we
Go in.
Do we want to join the rhythm of the place, or try and stay outside as observers? Like, are we going to infiltrate, or are we trying to just kick in the door and
Join.
Petrichor is already like moving the horse through the.
Yeah, I was just gonna try to like just become
Not like
go into the town,
at any speed, but just like kind of trotting through to look around the town and stuff.
because like you can go inside your castle village town and just check things out.
Do you guys also let Legba know that you can probably come join us here, since no longer help or yeah.
The hounds bark.
That's true. Actually, Legba's probably the one connected to the hounds. Set them on their task.
He made a familiar bond with them.
There you go.
They want something.
So they tell you can join.
Yeah, so they bark loud, and Legba like comes out of their mouth covered in saliva. And he turns around to them, about to like chastise them because he is the opener of ways.
Right.
And they say, agreement. And he wipes off the saliva from his body, shakes. He then looks at them, and then he shakes like a dog. And then he says, yes, exactly. Please, if you will, hounds, lead the way.
Now, see, if that's how all teleporting worked, it would make sense to me.
But being vomited out of the mouth of a dog.
Yeah, you just go from one living thing to another, and that makes sense.
Legba quirks an eyebrow and says, you and I should experiment to see if that's possible.
No.
Oh.
Yes, I like that idea. And then he looks at Baba Sarah and he says, perhaps you and I? Maybe an unliving thing?
And we perhaps focus on committing one
Sure,
sin
I'm
against wisdom at a
distracted.
time.
Yes.
And so the hounds, I will say, just so Legba, Ralph doesn't have to play two characters at once, and also because I hadn't thought about them actually continuing to help into the search here. Their
They can leave.
Yeah, their portion of the agreement. Yeah, they're like, cool, we did a good job. Like,
Their job was to hunt, and they've succeeded.
And I had this
Give them
moment.
cookies and
Right. Well, I was thinking Legba suddenly sprouts a multitude of hands to scratch all of them for a second, and then they depart pleased with
I'm
themselves.
scratching my dog right now.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, there we go.
She walked over
that
and
makes
laid her
sense to
head
me.
on my lap.
She was like,
Yeah.
I am being so good. Please pet me.
That's a great idea.
So yes, the four of you, I guess you're not even really infiltrating the castle so much as just calmly
Visiting.
Right? Yeah, visiting is a good way to
Mhm.
to depict it. And most of the serfs and peasants who are in brightly colored attire, and nobody looks dirty, kind of give you, they look to you and see you and either ignore you and go on about their way, or give friendly waves, pleased to see you. Knights pass by, and the women, they, a genteel bow from the from the saddle, and nodding, maybe even a raised arm salute to uh to Legba, as you all kind of, uh, Isabel, you said you were heading into the castle proper. Yep. Within the castle proper, the population drops, probably by half. Here you see more craftsman type. You see, forges going, big plumes of smoke. Men at work at forges, and kind of smithy stuff. Petrichor has a moment of longing. Uh,
For some reason, it feels
drawn to the anvil. But yeah, like, and they're working heavily to, like, initially there is the glance is, yeah, smiths at work doing, normal smithing stuff. You notice though that there are no nails being made. There are no fence. Yeah, well, I guess they they would do wrought iron fence. Most of what is coming out of the, like, several different forges with these master smiths working away are swords, spear tips, horseshoes. And it goes from being, oh, like, this is idyllic, to this is heavily militarized. Like, there's
I say.
yeah, there is a clear, like, facade of wholesome Camelot, but then realizing, no, this is they're on a war footing. But from here, you guys can, I don't have a clear depiction of Camelot, but using our own, draw on, we'll say, pop culture, what is in here is probably what you might expect.
Great. A very sharp rectangle table, huh?
Yes, once you get inside, correct. Yes.
Yep.
So are we looking for Lucan specifically?
Sir Lucan's trail is what led you here. And you have reason to believe that he is one of the serpents, though you don't know which one necessarily.
He's one of the serpents. Okay, I thought he was like a Goche or something they had made.
No, he's definitely a mage.
Okay.
That'd be cool. I mean, like a rank 5 Goetia guards the plantation.
Yeah, that's what I thought he was. Okay, no, this is a guy. Okay.
This is a guy.
Yeah, that's not an unreasonable suspicion. I mean, that would be pretty useful to them.
Hadn't
Be a
thought
really
about that.
Powerful Goetia.
But yeah, no,
that'd be-
that was very, very much a serpent had come in to check in on his plantation,
Yep.
Goetic, and found Legba and was like, "What the fuck are you doing here?"
Yeah.
Okay.
Like we're just hanging out.
Yep.
Just like
Nothing.
sitting there.
Never mind the fact that your plantation is currently on fire.
Yeah, that's right. What are you doing with my pristine landscape?
Mm-hmm.
So yes, searching for Sir Lucan would be the goal. Now, how
Yes,
direct you want to go about that, or do you go and start the dialogue chain with the nearest NPC, or do we sneak about and overhear stuff?
Legba would attempt to express himself in consistently with the expectations of the realm, and walk up to, I think, let's see, there are people working, right?
Yeah, you've got people working. You've got ladies in the courtly ladies walking about, investigating. Well, I guess they wouldn't be investigating. Looking
I would
into things
suggest
and
if we want
talking.
to get in the. Go ahead. Sorry.
No,
I would say if we want to get into the castle proper, then we want to be nobility.
Yeah.
Or a special guest. Yeah. Go ahead.
That's exactly what I was thinking. So Legba, in order to avoid suspicion yet, right? Like he wants to go up to maybe is there a herald around out there?
Oh,
Just
yeah, no doubt.
workers?
Yeah.
Okay, he would go up to the herald and say, Herald, I greet you, and ask, where might I speak with the Lord Chamberlain, so that I might request an audience with. Sorry, so that I might request an audience.
And this is, pumped up Harold, and he's got the long trumpet. And looks at you and an audience with who? And as you are talking and kind of accepting the role, some of your clothing changes. You're still Legba, but the appearance starts to blend in a little bit. An audience with who?
The Lord of the Keep.
King Arthur himself.
Gotcha.
And kind of looks you up and down. And who are you?
He would say, I am he who works in many ways, who has knowledge of many things, and might advise a king away from treacherous paths.
And yourself as a wizard.
Oh, you're a wizard. Okay.
Yes.
Harold immediately, you get if video game-esque, there's a little twitch where he just oh hey, no, I know exactly how to respond to this. Merlin. And pulls you in for this hug and goes, it has been long since you have been from the castle, come, and grabs your arm and with one arm and then and the horn and vuvuzelas, and we're back in the 2016 Olympics. Anyways,
yes.
World Cup.
Oh, also true, but it was at the.
No, it was 2014 World Cup, 2016.
Yep.
It was World Cup first.
Yeah. That's fine. We'll give credit where credit is due. And yes, announced. Yeah. Blasts, a loud, pay attention to me. And hollers that Merlin has returned from his journeys. He is back to advise Arthur. King Arthur. And then just just walks with you up, the kind of switchback, secure, way
Mhm.
up towards the keep itself and the inner walls. Rest of the gang, how are we handling this? I am a-okay. I am
Following.
prepared. I am prepared for a little split up within Camelot if necessary. Otherwise, yeah, we have Merlin's entourage. However, y'all want to.
That's what I was just gonna try to.
Yeah, so-
We're with them.
So
Um,
if, as we're
the-
escorting, if Merlin could say to the Herald, Herald, I have druids with me.
I don't know if Max goes with Druid or more of a Game of Thrones character, Brienne Knight.
Yeah.
Mhm. Well, fair enough, but didn't Ash say that Max's astral form has some of the sheepdog aesthetic?
It's
I thought there
true.
was like a
Yeah.
fur cloak or something.
Yeah, she's got like a iron thorns collar sort of going on and like a fur cloak.
when you
For the sheepdog, I was thinking like a Great Pyrenees.
Oh, that's right. Sorry. So you did say Great Pyrenees. Yeah, never mind. That's right.
when you turn to look at Theo, she's has more of a knightly aesthetic.
Oh, okay.
Cool. Awesome.
So, well, I'm gonna wait here. Chris, how is Petrichor handling this?
Right now, she's just sort of a cowgirl. I was not prepared to. In my culture, we also have bad made-up stories about knights and things.
Tilting at windmills, what?
Yep.
It's not bad.
Yeah,
It's the greatest.
So is Petrichor going to do her own parallel investigation or moving with the group?
Yeah, I think she, especially if they're headed inside,
Mm-hmm.
I think they're she's already feels like she's on unstable terrain being in the astral itself.
Mm-hmm.
And so like not having the sky with her feels like really she can like feel it closing, like the castle like closing in around her, and just like
Oh,
it could
yeah.
like change and be crushed instantly. I mean, it could be a trap. So I think she like just fully like finds like one of the like staircases up onto the walls.
Okay.
And just like takes her horse up on there.
Okay, cool. And because this
Full on Gandalf, like, just like,
Yes.
dun, 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 dun.
cool. Because yeah, I'm this is Camelot. I left to be like a multi-branching what every game designer swears that you can do in your game. So I'm up for this. Cool. So yes, when Legma says I brought druids with me, and these are these nightly spooky witch gals, one who looks like she could lift a bear, the other who looks like she sacrifices bears, and then Petrichor kind of veering away and going, no, not taking me inside any building, no thank you, and splits up. So Baba Sarah and Max, you had that same kind of, as Craig said, taking on some of that nightly, and you kind of match a little bit. You're not like fully in. I will warn y'all, becoming completely part of the realm would potentially be a bad thing. One does not really want to become completely resonant and open to Goche in their realm.
Yeah. Makes sense.
But yeah, at this point, you guys are being resonant and just kind of matching the area. The herald kind of looks back and nods and salutes the two of you and says, "They are welcome," and gestures for a stable for you to leave your mighty steeds. And then the three of you head up into the castle.
Mighty Steed's the chicken house.
Yeah, and like with
Fantastic.
absolutely no sense of like dissonance or anything like that. They're just like, yes, this is absolutely a thing that we just
This is a
put in
horse,
here,
yes.
right? We put it in next to the, the destrier, Clydesdale, yeah. So the three of you make your way up with the herald as the herald continues to proclaim the return of Merlin and Merlin's mighty allies. And dude is a hype man beyond anything else, like just talking about the great deeds. Like you are being reminded of like creating the round table. It's like the circle table. No, the round table.
The circular,
the pie table. Anyways,
pie shaped.
And all these other various things that you're like, hang on, I don't remember that being in the books. Yeah, but just like I said, hyping the three of you up beyond all belief, and it's like it feels good. It's like, and the weird thing is, some of the stuff that he's talking about also, to pull one out of the top of my head that he probably is suddenly aware of. He declaims about the lady Max laying low such terrible villains, and you recognize like a time that you put down some seers, and he's describing it in metaphor and analogy with appropriate King Arthurian stuff, but it's like, how do you know about that?
How do you know that?
Yep. Yeah, so like you had this lovely hype, and then you're like, whoa, hang on, what is that? Yes. And so you guys head up into the castle. That'll take a second. Petrichor up on the walls. You definitely get some looks from soldiers standing with their spears in lookout and parade stance, or parade rest, I guess, where they're watching from the walls all the way around the walls. Is there anything specifically up here that you were investigating, or is this a like passive perception kind of thing?
Yeah, I think it's just getting a better look around and seeing. I think she's curious more to see what was going on at like the transition points of like what is coming into and out of the castle. Like, as you said, there's a lot of smithing of weapons and stuff, and so just watching over the, I don't know, moat gate.
I like that. Basically, they like, okay, we've realized that there's more going on here than like the facade. Okay, cool. I like that.
And seeing like how many guards and stuff are like, up on the walls and patrols and stuff like that.
Cool. And we're gonna pause real quick. Okay, did anybody do anything on Discord?
No.
No, what happened?
Did we flip?
Y'all didn't flip. Craig and I flipped, at least. I didn't check everything.
Weird.
Yeah.
That's the new one.
Yep.
You all never moved on my end, so it's
definitely on my end.
Weird.
That's funny.
Drew, you got ghosts.
Yep. All right, well, we'll just leave that one in. Okay. Y'all on YouTube, you saw it. Don't gaslight me. I saw it happen. Grass lamping. So yes. Okay, cool. Then yeah, actually that makes this real easy. Could you give me a wits plus composure roll?
Me?
Yes. Or actually, because we are in the astral, that was going to be a
finesse.
Yeah, finesse plus finesse.
Plus resistance.
Oh, yes. Thank you. Yes.
Yeah.
Composure is, yep.
Okay. Manipulation plus composure.
Nice.
Heck yeah. Get the good stuff.
Two successes. I think this is the first time we rolled dice in like 4 episodes.
I know.
It's been a bit.
I mean, technically, if I scroll up here, there was 13 dice on a spell.
Yeah.
Force truth. Yeah. So we rolled last time. But yeah, Yeah, we don't roll dice very often. Yes, from your vantage point, and then like the slow patrol. I imagine Petrichor is not being suspicious. Don't be suspicious.
Don't be
But
suspicious.
as she kind of roams about, and you're not sticking your nose into anything. It's just being very observant. And let's be honest, you've been a sheriff for a decade. Observant is kind of a thing that you do regularly at this point, and trying to read between the lines and stuff like that. And yeah, you notice that the smiths are working. And while you do not have like a great knowledge of the Temenos, and not a ton of experience here. Yeah, I mean, hey, you made it out to the Anima Mundi and back.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're not just actors going through motions. Video game wise, they're not just like a background NPC who appears to be going through like 3 or 4 rote animations and nothing actually happens. You watch as swords are made and passed out and sharpened, and you can follow the life of a freshly finished blade all the way out into a scabbard, and then set on a wagon with a bunch of others. And that wagon, as you watch, is not necessarily rapidly getting filled, but is definitely filling with weapons. And then we'll even go so far to say, because I mean, this is a movie. You're just in time to watch a young page emerge from the come down from the castle and lead the wagon and horse out into the village, and out onto the road, and out into the Temenos to another. You're just basically following the road out, and then just kind of disappears. Much the same way y'all disappear when you move from realm to realm. And literally took a cart full of swords somewhere else.
Interesting.
Yeah, which from your experience is not a normal thing. Most Goetia tend to stay in the realm that they're from. Things don't... there's not an economy in the Temenos. Well, other than Metropolis and the Temenic realm of economy. So yeah, that's what you're like, okay. As we shift gears back over to the rest of the coven, Hype Man has continued his Harold has continued his Hype Man persona, and then passing through the inner walls and then into the keep itself, which has knights at the gate, great big doors open, swing wide, and again, the herald, and announces Merlin and the knights Max and Baba Sarah. Of note, you two did not introduce yourselves.
No,
Yeah.
didn't have a chance.
Yep. Weirdly, the front room of the castle also is the audience chamber in that great big, right? Yeah. Ash was like, yeah, obviously it is. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, you walk in and then, yeah.
There's the king. And there is motherfucking King Arthur himself sitting on a throne. Guinevere is there looking hot. And there's Lancelot looking at Guinevere.
Also looking hot.
Yep, also looking hot. Fair.
It do be like that.
Yep. Yeah, like you just have, because I imagine probably Helena has read some of the stories of Arthur. I don't know how much that showed up in Theodosia's childhood. But yeah, it is absolutely just like right out of, not necessarily childhood, because the original stories weren't necessarily written for children, but yeah, it's those same stories just in a sudden painting before you, kind of almost like, oh, hey, look, it's the Last Supper and there's Jesus situation of just like, this is a perfect tableau of Arthur and Lancelot, a couple other knights that are kind of recognizable, depending on when we are in the Arthur saga. standing about there, and the round table down there in the middle of the audience chamber, and of course a gaggle of courtiers and ladies in waiting and just the whole 9 yards. And that is what you kind of walk into, and the herald just gestures Merlin forward, and Arthur up the top rises from his, actually no, he probably doesn't rise, but extends his hand out and welcomes, motions for you to enter. Go ahead.
I was going to say Merlin accepts the summons, and am I going to do this? He's going to how could I trying to figure out how to do this without magic, because I don't want to immediately make it clear he's a mage. I know what he's going to do. He's going to summon his amnion.
Okay.
For effect.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think that will work. Instead of casting a spell, he's going to summon his amnion. And I think it's changed over the years. The last time we saw the amnion, it was, chains that appeared and then swirled around them and locked and then disappeared, right? And this time, because his nimbus has shifted into more of a stark relief, like a spatial effect, like a liminality, that's what happens here with his nimbus. So he is protected by a infinitesimal distance between himself and other things that renders him in greater contrast to his surroundings. So he accepts Arthur's summoning, and as he walks forward, he summons his amnion, and it seems like he stands out from the environment, like he's being excised in Photoshop and then put right back in. Like people can see he's there and he's out again. Like all of a sudden the colors got super dense or something like that. Or for some reason, like if any of you have been in an eclipse and you see how shadows get super distinct right as you're approaching when the eclipse comes, and it's super weird, right? That kind of effect. Like the outline of his body shouldn't be.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Yes. A transparent border that makes it very sharp.
But you sharpen in real life.
Yes.
Yes, exactly. Yes.
And so, and
he says, "I greet you, O mighty king.
Merlin, we have been long without your counsel. It is good to have you back. Who are your friends?"
Knowledgeable traveling companions, experienced in the ways of caution and risk.
Both of them looking at each other like, who's who?
And then he says, "Before I introduce them, might I?" No, he says, he says, as you know, a wizard is only as good as his wits and his caution. Might I confirm that all present in the chamber welcome and extend hospitality to myself and my guests?
I like that. I think that's going to be somewhere in the persuasion realm, or
expression.
Expression, if you were giving, I'm okay with expression in this situation, because some of this is the performance aspect of it. I'm cool with that.
Great, awesome, thank you.
7 successes.
So many.
That'll do.
Yeah, that'll do.
Big effect, yeah.
Yeah. So like King Arthur is kind of taken aback and then looks like accusingly at the rest of the court and says, "Is there any who would wish harm or misfortune upon my wizard or his allies?" And he's ready to throw down. Like you can see it, the hand is on Excalibur, like he's going to handle this himself. And of course, there's murmurs and, a couple, of course not. And no, who would do that? And he nods and says, see, Merlin, you have nothing to fear here. You are welcome. You are a welcome guest in Camelot.
I thank you, mighty king. My companions are Baba Sarah, expert in the ways of the soul of the person, and the soul of the earth.
That's Moros, yeah.
And then he says, she who carries the mighty blade. Her blade belies an understanding of, what would he say the forces? Yeah, he would say, the very forces of the universe. There are many ways to solve a problem. The sharpness of a blade is one, but sometimes the sharpness of the wind is a better choice. And then he says, there is a third companion who has chosen a preferred location outside of this room. She is Petrichor. She is one who knows what causes chairs to shake at night when none sit upon them. She is one who understands why and how a bear will rumble when it leaves its cave in search of food after a cold winter. She is the one who calls upon us the torrents that land, wet our clothes.
There it is.
Make a forest impassable as a mere consequence of the ice that falls from the sky.
Arthur nods, smiles, and, away with words as always, Merlin. Come, sit, and Castellan, bring us a chair. And a man who appears to be a knight, because Lancelot and the rest are not in armor, but is well-to-do, has a side sword and stuff, brings from a side room, I guess, a large chair, and brings it up and sets it down at the right hand of Arthur. Kind of turned sideways, very advisor, very Grimo Wormtongue with Theoden. And Sir Lucan gestures at the chair.
Fantastic.
Smiles at you. Merlin, your seat. And just stands next to the chair waiting for you.
Fantastic. Let's see. Legba says, my travels have been great and long. I have been sitting long. For now I wish to stand. I will stand at your side, Arthur, and I will thank you greatly, Castellan.
King Arthur, looks at you, looks at the seat, narrows his eyes just ever so slightly, and nods and says, very well, Castellan, and motions away, and Sir Lucan picks the chair up and walks away and sets it back away. And then now, of course, you all can see him quite easily just standing, and my dude has got Sinister Knight written all over him as he stands kind of in the shadows to the side. And yeah, he does have this gold chain that would mark him as the Castellan, and basically the guy who takes care of Camelot. Go ahead.
Yep.
I have an image of from Desperado where the light almost reaches his eyes, but never quite reveals. He's just shrouded in darkness.
And 100%, he also knows exactly where he is standing, right? And yes, there's probably that the not necessarily the pin drop. There's the mic. The realization, I think, is the best way to put it, is obviously this guy's not King Arthur. No, he's just the guy who runs Camelot and knows everything that's going on in here. Yeah. he is potentially the power behind the throne. And now
The
Merlin has.
Gray Eminence.
There you go. That's a good one.
It's my first WoW guild.
That's a good one.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, shout outs to Gray Eminence. If you're out here, leave a comment in YouTube. He's just kind of lingering and watching you as you, I guess, then ascend the steps and stand beside Arthur. The step back from the throne, just the very kind of Merlin pose. The other two of you, do you join him? Do you find some place amongst the court?
I think mingle.
Okay.
Yeah, I would go like out amongst the people.
Okay.
Because I'm not Merlin.
Right. I like that. Cool.
I am keeping Sir Lucan in eyesight at all times.
Oh
though.
yeah. No.
Same.
Yeah. We have the oh my
So
gosh.
you are leaning into the druid side of things.
I mean, that's the role we're playing here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Theo's definitely a lady knight as she's moving into the crowd.
I like that. We have the very telenovela soap opera kind of camera cuts to the four of you there in the room, all kind of looking at each other as King Arthur calls forth another petitioner to speak or continue speaking. And it, for the three of you, it's absolutely Charlie Brown, Peanuts gang. Yeah. And even the the whispered quiet conversations beside you are also similar, just the susurrus of voices. And that's it. While and even sitting up there, Merlin, when King Arthur replies to the petitioner and turns to Lady Guinevere to ask her opinion about stuff, it's more womp, 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 womp. It's literally just.
Is it a language?
No, it is. It is literally just filler.
It is the goetic representation of an interaction, but there's no actual content.
I like that. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. This is a thing that happens, but the details of it are irrelevant.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
We know the king does this, but this isn't worth a story.
Yeah, that's a really good way to put it. Because actually, now that you are up here, I will go ahead and tell you that King Arthur is rank 1. He is an actor. A step up from an actor. Actors are the rank 0. But yeah, he doesn't realize that he's Goetia. He is just King Arthur and playing his role. Go ahead.
Quick scan, no souls in the room.
Just Sir Tristan and yourselves.
Yeah.
Sir Tristan? You mean Sir Lucan?
Sir Lucan, thank you.
Yeah, just wanted to make sure there wasn't anyone hiding amongst the Goetia.
It's a good call. It's a very, very good call. So it is. You realize more or less, and down amongst the rest of y'all, it's these folks do not have that light in their eyes that sings, "Hey, I know I'm Goetia." Wink, right? And none of them are winking at the camera or anything like that. They're all just actors or rank 1. Actually, I will go ahead and tell you, all the knights, save Sir Lucan, are rank 1. And then all the courtiers are just actors. They're just goetic mass. Before any of you try to chat them up and get anything, you won't.
Eavesdropping on them won't. Yeah.
You're like, okay, lean into this conversation. Wah, 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 wah. It's like, well, shit. Outside.
Can we just say that telepathically we would communicate with Petrichor? Lucan's inside.
Yep.
Show an image. This is what he here.
Oh, that's true. That's what he looks like here. That's true.
Yes. Yeah.
Which actually I will mention, because previously you had seen him in a suit of armor and that was it. This is he looks French. He looks like a well-to-do.
You about to make a stereotype? Does he have a baguette hanging out of his mouth or something like that?
No, there was a cat.
Like
No,
a cigar, but it's
Looks
a
like
baguette.
a French knight.
Yeah, exactly. There's no cigarette or cigar. He's
actually-
a big, like it's the astral, so he has a giant baguette.
Right. Actually, on that point, he does not look like a French knight. He probably looks like their depiction of English knights. He fits the Arthurian look, but his hair and probably facial hair and stuff looks like a well-to-do Parisian of 1857.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
And yeah, like
Helpful.
there is that vibe of like we'll
It's
call
got that shitty Green Arrow sort of facial hair.
Yes, I know the goatee.
No, this got it comes to a
Oh,
point. Though, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Or the French fork.
The mustache
The
poison.
French fork.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
He dipped it in a gloss or
Right.
resin,
Yep.
and then he sanded the resin so it's an actual point. Hair's coated.
Use it as a natural weapon. 1d4
Oh, yeah.
damage. Okay.
There we go.
No.
Yes.
So yes. Compared to like Baba Sarah, who looks quite different from her natural self. This guy has like, no, this is what I look like. I dare you. Kind of vibes. So
That's pretty good.
You would not be surprised. And I mean, Legba is very similar. The face of Legba looks like the face of Cloak. This guy
totally.
is similar. But yes, outside, yes, Petrichor, you get the sudden telepathic message of, yo, he's inside and this is what he looks like. Keep an eye out, whatever. On your end, as you are hearing this message after everybody's kind of taken their positions in court, it is like somebody has kicked the anthill. There is a flurry of quiet, careful, get ready guys kind of stuff. This is stuff as a sheriff and some of the shenanigans that you've been in up to dealing with bandits and roustabouts and stuff like that. It's like, hang on, somebody's up to something, and like blacksmiths are still working away at their forge, but some of the knights who are trotting about in armor and on their horses are coming in towards the castle. Not with any particular great hurry, just a, hey, bring everybody, circle the wagons, I guess would be the appropriate time period phrase, wherein a lot of these Goche are like readying for something. And outside, beyond the city walls, peasants are running towards their quaint but quite large houses, and just kind of getting out of the way. And in a matter of 10 minutes, the streets are clear, and knights and everybody have moved within the castle walls. Nobody's moving up towards the keep, but it is like, hey, we're bringing everybody in.
As I see this happening, and like it's like steady progression, not like a rush, right?
Correct. Yeah, it is just you would imagine that there was the whispered thing to somebody and that passed on to somebody else. Hey, we're getting everybody together, kind of thing, not a big sudden rush.
I'm going to work my way up the wall and find the levers to close the gate while it's happening.
Oh, cool.
I like that. Okay. We will
fantastic.
trend now. Just to clarify, we will transition down into the gatehouse.
I mean, I figured that I was picturing like I'm up on the walls and stuff like that, and that the whatever sort of archway inside through the
Yeah, we can do it that way too. Yeah,
like the whatever levers and stuff is like up on the top of the wall and stuff.
Yeah, I was imagining such stuff in the gatehouse. I'm cool with your visual depiction just as easily, because
Either way,
it's not realistic because it's the King Arthurian depiction. Yeah, so there's the big spool of chain and stuff like that with the very convenient cronk lever, and just yoink.
Is anyone guarding it currently?
I mean, yeah, you've got
or operating it.
Nobody's operating it, but you do have like the soldiers who've been standing at arms watching out there, and so there is a guy there. Yes.
Sure. I will. So I like left my horse over a different spot, tied up to one of the like arrow slit posts or whatever.
Sure.
And yeah, I'll just sort of march up and I was like, do I go invisible and like make this subtle? And I don't think that's what I do at all. Because that's not really who Petrichor is.
No,
so yeah, she just walks up and just straight up just like snap kicks with a big boot the lever.
Ooh, okay. That's cool.
Nice.
Like pushes it to lower and tries to snap it.
Oh, to break
kick it
the
off.
lever.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
I like this. Yeah, absolutely. No problem.
And then I have to get in a fight with the guy that's there afterwards, then that's fine.
Right.
That's even better.
I was going to ask, is this I'm going to come up here and talk to this guy? Oh, no, we're going to kick it? Okay, yeah. So, yeah, you just lash out with a sudden kick. Yeah, it's a lever. It's hardcore, but it's not hardcore enough to extend out and then survive somebody cracking it.
Stomping.
Yep. Yeah. And so yes, down below the portcullis slams down, and the guard swings around. He brings his, pike, I guess is probably what he would have, or a halberd, and kind of levels it at you. And in just like the most obnoxious accented voice, and especially, you being a Spaniard, just like, this is doubly insulting. What do you think you're doing?
Having fun.
How would, yeah, do you think this mischief will amuse the king? And like there's it is not an attack, but there's the prod of the halberd towards your chest and says, all right, to the stockades with you. Like this guy's got like a breastplate on and like otherwise just normal clothing. He's probably got a jaunty hat.
He's a queer ass. He's wearing a tunic.
Yeah. I think I want to try and like just drop down, duck under, and then just like, I don't know, like a palm strike or whatever, just make contact like right in the gut from like underneath his grip, and we all know what's about to happen.
Say it.
Yeet into space, baby.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, so just a touch attack. I'm not. Yeah, go for it. The main thing here is, 8 dice. Yeah. Let's throw the quick yeetin spell. See if you can do that, because I'm sure you're trying to do it in just the one one turn. Yeah.
No yanchas, just
Yep. And
yeah, it's just sort of this gentle sort of bop the halberd out from as she like turns, like as she turns to like act like she's going to march, and then just like this reach back and knock it out, and then just like falls flat and just palm strikes up on his thighs and stuff, and he just suddenly is shooting like feet first into the sky.
I was entirely ready for you to like do that to the halberd, which he would drop. So yes, good job going for the go for the body. And
the halberd stays.
Yeah, no, it drops out of his hands.
Thinks it's great.
Yeah. clangs, and we get the Wilhelm scream as he. In which direction does this poor goetic entity fly? Straight up or like out?
I think it's a out.
Okay, at 40, that precise 45 degrees.
45, and it's straight out over the peasants.
Yep. So yeah, we get the Wilhelm scream yelp as he's launched, and there's some looking about, but within the castle, everyone's just like, "What was that?"
And then
it's so funny because of how inexplicable it is for them. So they're programmed entities as well.
And then she'll cast a silence spell, like a control sound on the halberd itself, and then just drop it off into the moat.
Oh, okay, cool. That's great.
And walk away.
Isabel has played a couple stealth video games before. She knows how to do this. You hide the body, you hide the weapons. Nobody will notice anything.
No one knows.
Yep.
Yep.
Must have been the wind. I like that.
Right. She does grab the broken off lever.
Ooh.
Okay. Petrichor acquires 1 club.
Yep. And then makes her way to the actual castle itself.
Okay, up towards the keep. Sure. Okay.
Yep.
That actually makes this easier to transition to. Yeah. So you move back down the stairs into the lower level and up towards the inner walls, and then into the keep itself, where like people watch you walk by, and there's not a suspicion on you so much as a, hey, we're getting everybody together, where are you going? Like, you're walking.
The king must hear my report.
Okay, yeah, it was less even of somebody saying something, but I like that of like just the explanation, and it's like, yep, this is a thing, no big deal. And okay, yeah,
and I think she kind of like swirls up her duster a little bit in a dramatic flare, and then like as it blocks line of sight for the camera, it comes down and she's in the full like Mariposa like skull.
Yep.
Fuck yes.
Yeah, which does not help the poor Englishmen, air quotes there for podcast folks. So they're just like, I don't know what's happening. Oh, sure. All right. Wait till they see what 6 guns are. But yeah, they nod. And so you have, this lonely walk up the zigzag through the inner gates, which are still open, and into the castle itself, which those doors are also still, those doors are open for you by knights, which is wonderful, because then we transition into the interior, where for the 3 of you, like, there's no sense of anything having changed. Things have just kind of progressed forward a little bit. Man, I don't know why I keep wanting to call him Tristan. But yes. Yeah,
maybe that's his first name and he just hadn't revealed it to us.
No, because I don't have his first name written down.
Okay, fair enough.
No, it's Tristan now.
Yes, fair. Fair.
Good old Tristy.
Yeah, it's got to be a proper French Parisian, like.
Everyone say hello to Greg.
Hey, Greg.
Hey, Greg.
Muppet.
I cannot counter.
Greg looks like a gibbon.
He's a Muppet.
He is. Oh yes. So things have not seemed to have transitioned. Sir Lucan is watching from his lurking corner. He's got that smile, the smile that doesn't reach his eyes, and is just kind of watching y'all while you're watching him. And it's a Mexican standoff. That
not yet, it's not.
Yeah, I was gonna say that Petrichor walks into.
Will be soon.
I'm imagining the club gets deposited into that conveniently large pocket of the duster.
She just walks in and tosses it on the floor.
Oh, great!
Something happened to your gate. I thought you should know.
Okay.
And she does not say this to the king. She says this to the human being that's here.
Yeah.
does that like scan the crowd, locate him, toss club, something have to
I refuse to participate like these are real things and should be treated as such. It's
just so Patrick, or
it's just not how she's gonna ever think about the astral. It's just like it's all dreams, bro. It's just made up delusions that we all
None of you are real.
How very Thyrsis of you.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
It's so good.
I mean, go talk to spirits. Spirits are real.
Yeah, exactly. That's the earth, bro.
Yep. I'm going to put Petrichor and Drifter in a room together for 5 minutes.
See who walks out.
They'll both walk out exalting the gun arcana.
True.
So yeah,
and you can just hold down the trigger. That's incredible.
They'll walk out drunk, arm in arm.
Yeah. Let me introduce you to Uzis.
It's Scott Pilgrim and Nega Scott at the end of the movie when they just walk out instead of fighting.
We'll get waffles on Wednesday.
Yeah. Sorry, there's a game we're playing. Sir Lucan kind of like goes from that smirk to like when you direct it right at him, like the smirk changes into just like a disappointed frown. And like he kind of steps forward, out from the shadow covering his eyes. Are you disrespecting King Arthur in his own castle? Like the court goes silent.
I would never do such a thing.
Because that ain't King Arthur.
Doesn't say that part out loud, but
and like it's and you watch as Sir Lucan just kind of turns and looks to the king, and King Arthur kind of rises from his throne, hand on the hilt of Excalibur, the pommel of Excalibur. And like now we have the more showdown that Petrichor might be used to, hand on gun, hand on actually she probably is just standing casually. She's
standing there.
Yep. And he says, "What is the meaning of this?" and kind of looks over his shoulder at Merlin. Explain.
Merlin says, I will invite my companion to speak for herself. She is not a child. All things that she does with reason and purpose. And then he says,
is there like a pleading tone to that?
No, he's asserting it. Yep. He's asserting that is the case. Merlin says the people who are with him do things with reason and purpose. And like I've said before, Legba in the 10 years got to the point where he trusts Isabel and Petrichor implicitly, doesn't ask any questions, right? As we demonstrated in the Tempest, just immediate, right? He's come to understand that when he's traveling with her, everything she's going to do, he doesn't need to worry about it. When before he was like, he had certain feelings, right? So he doesn't have any of those feelings. So anyway, he says this, and then he says to the king, although I don't presume to suggest that Sir Lucan means anything specific by his question, I would remind everyone of, Sir King, what you... he wouldn't say Sir King. He would say, Your Majesty, what you ascertained on my behalf when we entered, that none in this chamber mean harm to those in my party.
And like you look over at count. Isabel just goes, "Does that count?" like to Max,
right? It's true. Max is over here with 0 dots of mind and probably as much experience in the Temenas. I don't know. I'm just here for. I thought we were just here for costumes.
Yeah.
I mean, the laws of hospitality are universal for a reason. Almost universal for a reason.
But they're not real.
Yeah.
And they're just...
Very well.
None of this matters.
None
of this matters.
this guy's constructs, and if he decides to make them disappear,
Like,
you know.
Petrichor realizes that she misjudged maybe what was happening in here and why she was told that, this is the guy. And so I think she's gonna try and at least diffuse the tension of the court itself. And she's going to pull out her flute.
Oh, yes.
And sing a little song, tell a little story. If it pleases your grace.
what is the story that you're telling? Not necessarily the narrative.
Oh,
but
it's a morality tale about a wise king who, even though he possesses all the wisdom of the world, is deceived and led to ruin by someone he trusts.
Yes.
I like it.
Which, it turns out there's a little bit of Arthurian stuff in that, what I just said, right?
Yep.
Something like an expression and a manipulation.
Expression.
So good.
And a bonus. Fucking, I'll do a Willy Power. I really rock this guy's shit. Yeah, okay. Needed it.
2 successes.
Put that,
It's good enough.
that Willy in there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So actually, I think diffuse the situation is a good way to put it, because people are being pushed to the point of revealing what's going on or taking action, and Petrichor is like, nah, I got this. I now just have the Lord of the Rings. Yep. And King Arthur kind of he's unsure of what exactly is happening, because went from throwing a broken piece of lever onto the floor to now we're playing a song and singing, and kind of sits down and he's got that the elbow on a knee, lean forward, trying to understand what is going on here, and is listening to the lyrics as Petrichor plays and performs Mort to Arthur. And he's like, I don't think I really like this story. But listens.
If he voices any of that, then she just says, then pray tell it does not come true.
I like that. Okay. Yeah, he does say that now as the story comes to the end. And Sir Lucan, who has stepped forward and is has not moved from his place, kind of finds himself in a spot where he can't really make a move. And nods his head in a okay, you win this round, and kind of steps back. Actually, I think he walks forward, picks up the lever, and turns to the king and says, by your leave, I believe I have a gate that needs repairing. King Arthur nods, and Sir Lucan heads out the door. I saw a head shake from.
Yeah. I'm gonna follow.
Okay. And
not directly on his heels, but I'm keeping him in
line of
sight.
sight. Yep. Okay.
Oh, that's good.
Cool.
This is so good.
Petrichor just kind of shouts as he's leaving, wishing him well with the repairs, and that she hopes that they will meet again in London town.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Fantastic.
Cool. Storytellers, DMs out there, no matter what you prep.
So good.
No matter what you prep, your players are going to be nah, fuck that. Yeah. I was good up until around here. Okay, actually, no, this is perfect. So unfortunately, those of you who are remaining within do not really have too much to eavesdrop from folks, but the knights are there. Guinevere is there, who I'll also mention is also rank 1.
Wow.
And King Arthur there. So as long as you are remaining within the universe that you're in, they are there to chat with if you have questions or anything like that.
Yes.
For Max, and I'll let you guys percolate and think of any questions you might talk to Goche. I know they're not real, but you can still talk to them, Petrichor. Ash, as Max follows, like Sir Lucan kind of looks over his shoulder at you, like, it's not at you, but it's just to see if he's being followed, and then sees that he is being followed, and kind of nods and like slows his pace just a little bit so you can catch up if you want to catch up.
I don't want to catch up.
Okay.
I want to watch him.
Okay. So yeah, he
basically, as soon as he clocks her and she sees that, she's just gonna nod back and maintain distance.
being
this is
guarded
such an
in
arrow
his
move.
own castle.
This is like, it doesn't need to be hidden that I'm watching you. That wasn't the point.
We can find if you want. Yeah. Cool. So yeah, you watch him. Actually, he basically backtracks Petrichor's steps and walks up to the top of the gatehouse and sees the broken lever, and like walks to the edge and shouts down to the smiths that he needs hot iron strips, like for repairing. And yeah, you can sit there for a couple minutes as they work and get stuff together. Yes, Greg?
Since Sir Lucan's now gone,
yes,
this is an Arthurian castle, right? There's got to be a map room somewhere. So I'm going to try and drift off into the castle without drawing a lot of attention and look for the map room.
Okay.
Yes.
Cool. Noted.
Awesome.
And yeah, so Max, you watch as this guy repairs the lever using what is here in the yard and with the blacksmiths, and then repairs it, gets it in, and lets it cool, and kind of he looks over to you where you found some cozy wall to lean up against, or whatever, and he says, Are you entertained? Is this an entertaining show? And like he is hitting you with the French accent, even, right? Like he's like, okay, I'm gonna break the fourth wall real quick. Is this fun? Are you enjoying the show?
I'm not speaking to him. Just fully.
You are lucky you are still alive right now, sir.
Yeah, just completely silent, stone face, just watching him.
The only reason you haven't been killed is because it would just wake you up.
Right. Yep. And like when he doesn't get a rise from you, he's like, is this what we're doing? This is what we're doing. Goes over to the lever, hauls it back, and then you've got some guys there winding and drawing the gate back up, and that takes a little bit, at which point you're just like, nope, watching the entire time. We jump back into the castle itself. Baba Sira politely excuses her from a wah conversation, and moves into kind of search, and you have been welcomed as a guest, and yeah, you have kind of room to move about, and yes, basically one hallway over, you have a large map room with maps up on the wall, and then more maps rolled up in little alcoves, and some wizened old man with a beard, and we'll throw in the spectacles that haven't been invented yet, and he actually asks you what map you're looking for. We'll pause that for a sec. Did Petrichor or Ligba have questions for any of the Goetia in here? Nodding from Craig. Nope, not Craig. Sorry, Ralph. What are
I
names?
might follow Legba's lead a little bit. I
Okay,
don't know
cool.
that I have any immediately, but
Okay, cool. We'll come right back around. Craig, what are the maps that you might be looking for?
So this is a representation of this guy's stronghold, I'm imagining,
Mm-hmm.
but we don't know. It's located in France in the astral, but I'm looking to see if I can find a map of where it might actually be located.
Ooh.
Ah, okay. Do you have a particular way you might voice that to a Goetia?
Um, I'll phrase it that I'm looking for a map of the keep and its surroundings,
Okay. So he's like,
nearest
oh,
cities and things like that.
we have several of those, and draws out one that is just really highly illustrated and is very, very pretty and is not very informative. And
Mhm,
then no, okay, how about this one, and the once you get into ones that are more, we'll say, tactical and has some
mhm,
distance mark, you look at this and you're like, the nearest village is Chivalry. Okay. Okay. And quite a few maps, and they're all of the astral realms that are
mhm,
connected and nearby. You don't have any that depict um, anything in reality, at least initially.
mhm. Theo's certainly willing to spend some time poking around.
Okay, cool.
I
Well,
understand transitioning from the astral to the real might be a bit of a deep dive,
mhm.
so she's prepared to invest some time in this and
She's
just sort
like,
of through the mental channels letting everyone know.
roll up the sleeves. Oh, I got to
Yep.
research. Let me show you
Oh,
this.
yeah.
Okay, cool. Legba, what questions you got?
Yeah, so Legba first is going to, after the ending of Petrichor's story, which pleased him to no end, right? Like, oh, just totally exactly what he would have asked her to do if he had the gall to request that Petrichor do something, right? So it's just perfect, right? So Arthur expresses his concern, then she gives him a word of warning. So Merlin then says, Petrichor, if you would please join me for a conversation with the king.
Go ahead and just give me, because we're running short on time here for this
Yeah.
episode. Just the
Oh, just tell you
specific
what I want.
questions.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sure. This is what Legba wants to do. Invite Petrichor up. The king expressed concern. Legba says, the king, you should not ignore your instincts. If the tales of a traveling visitor have awakened in you a concern about trustworthy servants leading you towards ill, it would be wise to converse with perhaps the messenger of such wisdom in detail. And then Merlin also says, I also have news to share from my travels that might aid you before I leave again.
Okay, gotcha. And is there any information you are
Yeah.
trying to get from Arthur?
Yes, from Arthur. Merlin wants to determine, in the course of this is all just pantomime to try and figure out this.
Mm-hmm.
What Sir Lucan is up to. Like, what is he trying to accomplish with, things happening, right? And then let's see, what's the other thing?
Well, what do you think? That's fine, because the first thing is that Arthur is very actually happy with Sir Lucan. Sir Lucan has been a excellent Castellan. He is basically ensured the prosperity of the castle itself while Arthur is on campaign or visiting other villages and cities. And he's been a wonderful governor of Camelot and ruling when Arthur is not around. And he's very pleased with them. And yeah, a lot of it sounds like basically infrastructure. Like Lucan is making sure that Camelot is just well armed and cities are built up and everything is clean. The peasants are taken care of. And he is just being a very, very good governor of the astral in your view of things.
Great. Then as a follow-up question, he would ask if Sir Lucan has always been the governor of Camelot.
No, before him was, and I actually looked it up and I didn't write it down. There was a knight for Camelot, who
Cool,
was
yeah.
the Castellan, but Sir Lucan impressed Arthur so much. And then he kind of pauses and he doesn't quite remember what it was that Sir Lucan had done to acquire the position, but it was impressive. He will have to, consult journals or records or something to remember what that was, which is a bit of a red flag in a thing that's all about glory and honor. And it's like, how did
that's what Legre would say. Merlin, no, not Merlin finds. I find it hard to believe that such a thoughtful king as yourself would forget the very deed that would impress him and lead him to trust a new Castellan when the one before him did so well. Perhaps the Herald has knowledge of that specific event.
Okay, I like that. Put a pin in that while my gears turn.
Sure.
Yeah, so Craig, you spend 5-10 minutes working with this cartographer, and he gets increasingly frustrated when you start asking about these places. You're like, Paris, right? And he's like, where the hell is Paris? Right? Because you're like, it's got to be in France. He's got to be somewhere around there. And he's like, what are you talking about? You are talking about things I've never heard of, places I've never heard of. And then eventually, because I don't think Baba Sarah stops until she gets what she wants, her little daemon inside. And eventually he's like, what, do you want fictional? And draws out this
Perfect.
Yes. This gaudy, gorgeous illustration of the fictional realm, and he lays it out, and it is a not super great, but pretty clear map of France. Western France, getting over towards Brittany, and places, and Camelot is not put on the map, but there is this unmarked star, little circle, little capital, kind of basically well west of, but probably within 2 or 3 days travel of Paris. It's unmarked. It's just kind of there. And looking at it, you also kind of the map, and the physical map, not just the decor on it, feels just a little bit out of touch with all the other visuals around here. It looks kind of akin to you and Max and Legba, who are sort of in this realm, but not quite. It's not, you're not fully in it. And you definitely get the vibes of this isn't, how did this get here? So kind of look at this really, really good, because Legba can get it out of my head later.
Yes.
Yep.
Well, I mean, I can even send it over the telepathic link, right?
True. Yeah.
So Legba just has it.
Yep. That's very true. Yeah.
He can literally pull it out of his head later and spread it out on the table.
Legba is over here being Merlin with King Arthur, and then all of a sudden has a pop-up image. What was that? Cool. All right. Outside, Max, you watch the I had it before. The portcullis returned back up, and then the Castellan dismissing everybody back to their posts and stuff like that. And you are now seeing, and probably had heard from Petrichor before about everybody being drawn in. everybody is still kind of in this defensive position where everybody's inside the houses, everybody's behind the walls, and the Castellan comes down, and knights and soldiers come around to speak with the Castellan, and you can hear them asking stuff, and it stands out because there's actual words, not the wah-wahs, and they're asking you what is going on. Everybody was told to be ready, be on the defensive, unknown assailants are coming. What is happening within the keep, sir? And the Castellan kind of looks at all of them and then kind of head shifts just enough to peek through the gap to look at you. Says, no, everything is fine. Everybody can return back to their work. Everything is fine. The king has new guests that have caused a stir in court, but everybody is safe. Like, you can see, like, he's playing the role, and he's not happy to be kind of forced into
He doesn't want to be
with,
saying this.
right, yeah, but he needs to because it's his role, and he can't really play out of it because compared to all y'all, he looks like he belongs here.
He has made himself part of this realm while he's here.
Yep. Oh my gosh, my brain just fell out of my head. What was the last question you had, Ralph?
It was, excuse me. I said perhaps the herald would have memory of this specific event that impressed the king so much. And then before you answer that, just another thing that Legba did want to do while Sir Lucan was gone, because he's reluctant to cast spells, is this image comes. He knows he can deal with that image later because that's a real map. He's going to be like, okay, I have something of substance that I can then actually cast a spell on later elsewhere outside of it. But while he's in Camelot and his astral body is in Camelot, he's known how to maintain his connection, his legacy, and all that. He is going to cast a spell from the throne room to see if Camelot and the throne room specifically leads to any places in the astral. Like if there's a conduit, like he has a conduit from his Oneros into Metropolis now, a train ride directly. If there's a tunnel somewhere, if there is some route, if there is a threshold, like another Timonic realm that's directly connected to Camelot.
Just kind of like a knowing spell kind of thing.
Yes. Yep. It's okay if there isn't, but Lego would be like, okay, is this going somewhere? Is there a place he comes from?
No, there's not. There is not in the way that you're thinking. There are some realms off of here that Legba would recognize as, okay, that makes sense. For instance, there's some offshoots that literally turn the right corner in here, and you end up falling into Timonic discussion of politics or intrigue and things like that also would probably be very useful places to get to, but no, they don't link to a physical place or an actual place. And none of it appears forced, right? Something that's been manipulated or created. You're like, okay, no, this checks out. But also notably, this is not like some dead end. It definitely connects to other stuff. Some of the stuff that Baba Sarah had probably seen on the maps.
Perfect. So he has a basic like wireframe understanding of the connection between some relevant realms, some adjacent realms. That's also useful. And
notably, ones that would effectively allow you to bypass the front gates.
Yep.
Yep. Very
come from the back room, that kind of thing.
Bolt hole kind of. Yep.
Perfect.
So with your last comment to the king, he nods and he says, yes, very well. Harold, fetch me any records and tales we have of Sir Lucan's exploits. Right away, my lord. And he kind of drifts away as Sir Lucan, followed by Max, returns to the throne room. And like Sir Lucan, go ahead.
I was going to sort of fall in step beside him as he's coming back in.
Oh, fantastic.
And I just want to. I guess this is like sort of implicitly threatening him.
Yeah.
Just like, um, just straight up say to him, like, you came to my home. And I think that's all I'm gonna say to him as I'm walking
it's so
back in beside him.
good.
So that's perfect. I actually really like this because this sets things up. As you are walking up, this kind of winding path, and yeah, it's just the two of you conveniently. And you mentioned that he looks to you, and like he doesn't look surprised, but there's a little shake of his head. And he's like, "I didn't. I was not particularly a fan of the idea." You would give me a empathy roll or deception. Is it deception? Subterfuge.
Subterfuge.
I got a point in empathy. It's
wits. Well, it would be finesse. So either wits or manipulation because you're in the astral.
Wits.
You're making a face, so I'm gonna give you a roll on it.
And it will.
Yeah. Like you're not super great at reading through deception. You only got the one empathy, but looking at this, and like he maintains like some eye contact, and he's like, "No, I wasn't into that." He still hates your guts, and he would love to fight it out, but similar to you, fighting here isn't going to do anything for either of you.
Yeah,
but
I don't intend to fight him here. I'm just letting you know that you came to our house, we're coming to yours.
Sure. And yeah, he mentions is like, "Wasn't my idea. This was not. Nope." And as far as you can read, he really means it. Especially now that. Go ahead.
Like, I want to say something to him about like reining your people in, but I know that among the seers, that's not.
That's something
you don't really do that.
I mean, you have to maintain control on those underneath you, or they do usurp you. So, like, there is something to be said about it, but it's not quite the same as.
Yeah, it's diamond. More. I'm pretty sure these guys are all like the named ones, the big ones are kind of equals.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he could have reined them in if he wanted to.
No, and I mean, clearly it wasn't if he didn't want them to, and they did anyways. But yeah, and yeah, he not only was he clearly against it to begin with, now he's doubly against it because now y'all in his house or playhouse.
Yeah. You gotta ask bro why he's just cosplaying and fucking Arthurian legend all day. Holy shit.
And he doesn't even get to be the wizard.
Right? My man's out here like, no, I'm not even one of the knights that goes and does things. I just stay here at the castle.
Yeah, no, what kind of nerd wants to be a base builder?
The base is already built, bro. You're just fucking hanging out.
You're base tender. Base camper.
Operator.
Yeah. So yeah, he gets to walk in after talking to Max and saying, "Hey, this wasn't my idea," just in time to hear King Arthur say, "Hey, Harold, give me a list of like all of Sir Lucan's great accomplishments." And like Sir Lucan kind of like has this kind of like 100 like all other stuff has kind of irritated him and stuff like that. This is the first time where he's like, "Yo, what the fuck?"
That's so good.
And like kind of looks about and like nods at the herald as the herald, walks off out kind of over towards where Baba Sera has gone. You also watch as Sir Lucan kind of does a quick head count and realizes that Baba Sera isn't here, which also makes him slightly nervous because now he's lost track of y'all. This is like having visitors in your house that you didn't expect, and there's a bunch of them, and it's like, where are you? I don't think you guys are gonna like, wrecked the house, but what the fuck are you doing and where have you gone? And I'm not like, no, I don't think you're going to pull the TV off the wall, but my wallet might go missing. What the, where, yeah.
It's my
Right in your
house. I
bathroom
deserve to
pills,
know where
bro.
you are.
Yep.
Sorry, what was that, Chris?
I said we're just right in your bathroom for pills, bro.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so he kind of looks about and nods and like kind of draws away from Max and approaches the king and says the repairs to the gate have been completed and everything is restored after the damage from the visitor. And you can see he's trying to like rein in like some of the looks that he's giving Petrichor, who's sitting up there or standing up there with Merlin. And if
Yeah, I found it like that.
I mean, I found it like that after I did it.
right,
I still
but
found it like that.
yeah.
And there was
So,
no guard up there, you know what I mean? So
I
anyone
would
could
have
have
given
done
it to
it.
him.
yeah. Beautiful. So Sir Lucan, says the king, if with your leave, if I may be excused to see to my other duties. And King Arthur nods and says, "Thank you, Castellan." And Sir Lucan bows and kind of backs away, and then turns and passes through a doorway. And Max, if you're a step behind, you come around the corner, and he is gone.
Yep.
More or less leaving y'all to ransack his house should you wish. I will go ahead and kind of meta knowledge wise, Baba Sarah found the key thing, which could have been found a couple different ways. But if you guys do want to absolutely wreck the house, you're welcome to.
We're guests of the king.
Correct.
We want to leave a good impression in case we're back here.
And let's be real, y'all don't want to actually destroy the King Arthur's legend? Come on. Like that would be a dick move.
I think one thing we do want to do is like leave lasting impressions of ourselves on this place.
Yeah.
So that we are familiar if we come back again.
Gotcha. Yeah. Which, you can definitely chat around, regale everybody with your exploits, which, the Herald is apparently already aware of. Yep. But I think that's probably a good spot to end it here. Quick heads up for y'all at home. Just we have been fighting some shit back in the RLs. Everybody's fine. It's just stuff is happening. We're all adults. And we are no longer recording in the day and age of COVID where everybody was at home all the time. So people want to do stuff, things have to happen, things like that. So this is actually going to be our last episode for a while. We are basically going to shift up our scheduling, as you may have noticed if you're watching this frequently as they are coming out. There's been gaps and stuff. What we're going to do is shift to a different method. We're going to record when we can record, and we're going to record an arc, and I will have it all edited and uploaded to YouTube. That way, when the arc is finished and we're like, oh, here's a good little segment of things are complete, we'll release that on the YouTubes so you guys can watch a bunch of stuff in progression. That way there is less, there's a more reliable release pattern. So once a new episode comes out, you've got hopefully several weeks of episodes to watch. And then there will be probably another gap when we find a good stopping point. That'll give us a little bit more freedom to deal with real life, take Fridays off because that's when we record, to go do stuff. In a couple weeks, I'm going to Six Flags. Yay! I will take more pictures with. Hopefully, this time I'll actually manage to find the Ungan voodoo priest guy who's there, because last time I went, they had signs for him and he wasn't there. And I was like, this is the most on-brand thing for me to do while vacationing. And he wasn't even there. So hopefully for the Halloween stuff, he'll be there. So just to give you a heads up on that, if you want to keep abreast of where we're at and what's going on, we're still in the Discord. We're still hanging out. You can come chat with us. We can kind of give you updates if we have them. Especially the players are going to be like, we don't know when the arc ends. Or they might be like, shit just went down. The arc is probably over in the next week or two. The game might be over the next week or two. We'll let you know. So we'll try to keep you up to date. You can chat with us. As always, you can come by our Discord, www.yeetinto.space, that thing Chris did earlier. Yes, that is where our Discord is. You can come by, hang out, chat with us, talk about your game, ask questions of how stuff is run on any system you want, because we have accumulated a bunch of nerds who have played a bunch of games. So if you're like, hey, here's this mechanical question for Mage or Werewolf or Pathfinder or Star Trek Adventures, we played that one on stream even, come by and ask us. Yeah, twice, it's true. And Craig mentioned that there might be a third one percolating in the back of his head, so you never know. So yeah, we're going to take a little shift on our streaming pattern, or recording pattern, but you can still come chat, hang out, join the community. It is a fabulous community to be part of. Very, very supportive, and very, very friendly. You are welcome here always. And if you want to support us monetarily, that's www.staylucky.club. That's our Patreon. Also, if this news makes you go, hey, I would rather put my money somewhere else while you guys are on hiatus, cool. In no way affects our livelihood. Nobody is tied to the money that y'all send in to us. We greatly appreciate it. It goes towards art. It goes towards being ready to handle technical problems if somebody's computer breaks, or there's anything like, we need new headphones or new mics or anything like that. That's what that fund is for. And obviously character art. I should get some drifter art. It keeps coming up, and maybe that's just a good use for party funds. But that's what that goes to. So if you want to continue supporting us, we greatly appreciate it. If you're like, hey, I'll be back when new YouTube videos come out, cool, totally understand. It's okay to do that. We will not be in any way offended, because, hey, if we're not putting stuff out, we understand you not giving money. Totally cool. I want that to be just a big guilt-free kind of thing. No big deal.
Yeah, we actually talked about that as a group, that we're altering the value proposition in Patreon, so don't feel bad in it.
Yep. With that said, we'll see you next time. Bye.